Firstly, I would like to thank the NHS and you all for being here today. I would like to start by posing a question to you. Do any of you know the literacy rate here in Bangladesh? It is about 58%. This means that 1 in 3 people in Bangladesh are illiterate. This figure has only gotten worse because of the pandemic. This forced many to pull their sons and daughters out of critical education due to issues such as fees, or worse, to put their children in dangerous, often illegal work industries. All of this information can be found through a quick Google search, however. The real question we need to ask ourselves is, what can we do about this? In order to tell you the story of how I discovered what I can do, we have to take a short look back to the past. This is around the first lockdown in March 2020. My parents and I, sitting in a living room, were talking about how the rickshaw pullers probably weren't earning anything. People not going to work and not moving around in general means that these vulnerable and hardworking people can no longer make any form of money. So we decided that we would cook and package 1 nutritious meal a day for these rickshaw drivers and hand them out. The gratefulness and smiles on their faces from such a small gesture really hit home with me. I decided that I needed to make a difference in this world somehow, and these guys inspired me. Being a student in AISD and 15, I decided that my difference would focus on the future of this nation, its students. Thus, Educate to Empower was born. Once lockdown finished and we returned to school, the issue of education in this country is a big one, and so it was important to me that I could grow this project, and that's where the school came in. I decided to enroll in project-based learning, which is essentially a class where students get to decide on doing a project and the school helps them with school resources. This pandemic has had a huge impact on students, as I had discussed before, and so I decided that my project would solely focus on students that had to drop out because of the pandemic. Almost immediately, we faced what was possibly the biggest hurdle of all, picking a color scheme. Okay, I'll admit that maybe that wasn't the biggest hurdle. However, being able to reach out to families and people living in slums and the vulnerable people that we were trying to reach was definitely a challenge. This was worsened because of COVID, as going out to these places was dangerous and probably not possible. This is where the AISD community and the DACA community in general came in. I reached out to friends of my parents, my friends, faculty, teachers, and staff in hopes of finding students in need of funding through a project like Educate to Empower. With their help, we were able to find 3 young students to start off this project. I would like to take a moment to thank this community for helping us kickstart this dream and turn it into a reality. I remember thinking to myself, this is going great, we'll be up and running in no time. This cannot be further from the truth. We had identified the students, and so now we need to kickstart this project and actually get the funding. I decided to start with a fundraiser for the secondary school here at AISD, as is the easiest and cheapest way to reach a large audience quickly. The first step to doing any fundraiser at school was submitting a plan which outlines the required facilities, staff, and safety protocols. There had been almost no student-led events prior to this fundraiser due to COVID, and so I had to work closely with our vice principal and other school officials to ensure COVID safety protocols were followed. We decided to do a dodgeball tournament as it was an engaging activity that the community, students, teachers could engage in and have fun with. Ensuring COVID guidelines was a tedious and time-consuming task. An example of this was how to ensure social distancing was maintained whilst players are sitting. On paper, this might seem like an easy task, put some stickers on the ground, or maybe just show them where to sit. However, in practice, with people competing and moving around, this is an extremely complex task, and there was many different scenarios which we had to imagine and come up with solutions for. However, slowly but surely, things started coming together. Now, we had to get the word out about the cause. telling people what Educate to Empower was probably one of the most fun parts, but also one of the most challenging parts of this entire project. This was the time where I had to give my project an identity. I had to stand up on stage and tell people what this project was and what we stand for. This was a scary experience, but also something I was looking forward to. This was the first time that a dream of mine could be shared with the entire world. We put out advertisements in school bulletins as well as posters around school to get the word out. It was wonderful to see students and teachers alike willing to come together to support a cause like this with open hearts and minds. I would like to take a moment to say thank you to all those that participated in our dodgeball fundraiser, and I would like to congratulate this community on raising almost 30,000 taka to help students in need. We all have a privilege that many do not possess, and it was amazing to see that a dream of mine to help was embraced and understood by so many people. The desire to help and give back is what birthed Educate to Empower. This project is nowhere near its completion, rather it's near its start. And with your help, we'll hopefully have a much more meaningful and lasting impact on families and the future generations to come. Recently, we have opened an Instagram page, which allows supporters to check in on our students and learn about future events that they can get involved in. This is now on stage, that is our Instagram, if you would like to follow. In the near future, Educate to Empower plans to host many more fundraisers, not just for the school, but for the larger Dhaka community. An example of this is a project that I'm currently working to create. It is an arts and crafts show which we put on display items and artwork made by students in slum schools, and this would all be sold to then directly go back to helping educate these students, as well as expanding Educate to Empower and incorporating more students into our umbrella. If you'd like to learn more and keep tabs on how this project is going and many others, feel free to follow our social media, as I said before. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to have the opportunity to provide better lives for students in poverty with all of your help.